All right, hello everyone, Duncan McPherson, and today I'm going to be talking about how to transition to wholesale. A lot of people, when they get into Amazon, start out with a thing called arbitrage, and I certainly recommend that for many people. Um, Before I get into it, though, I want to let you guys know that I'm starting a wholesale mentoring group, and it's going to be limited availability, but it's a group where you can learn step by step how to transition into a wholesale business. And I'm going to be personally mentoring you as a group to go through that process. So I'm going to include some details below with a link to that. And if that's something you're interested in, get in quickly because the spots will fill up fast. And because this is a pilot and I'm giving some of my personal time to mentor people, I'm keeping the group fairly small, limiting the number of spots for that. So look out for the link below. I'll be adding that with more details if that's something you're interested in. But imagine this, like you're outsourcing for some products, you're on Walmart's website, you find something on sale there that's selling for $12, and then you discover it's selling on Amazon for like $30. And you think, wow, okay, that's profitable. Let me buy some. So you buy 5 units, and then Walmart's website says that's the maximum you're allowed to buy. Okay, so you get clever and think, well, I'll place multiple orders. So you place your first order, it goes through, great. Second order goes through, boom. Third order goes through, boom, order canceled. What? It happens all the time, and it's a limitation with arbitrage. They've got algorithms and smart technology that basically flag resellers. If you're placing multiple orders for the same thing, a lot of times you're going to get shut down. If you're using a prep and ship company's address, they have a lot of registered prep and ship companies in their system, and they'll cancel your order because they don't want people reselling those products. So that's one of the big frustrations I think people run into with arbitrage is either the products are out of stock, or you can only buy limited amounts of them, or they cancel your orders outright. Now, I'm not against arbitrage, and I don't want you to think that this video is anti-online arbitrage or retail arbitrage, because it isn't. I still advocate that people begin with arbitrage because it's one of the easiest, lowest risk ways to get started with Amazon. It doesn't require a lot of money. You get instant results, right? You can literally just go into a store, buy something, you scan it and see if it's profitable, buy it, and ship it to Amazon, and it sells. So it's a quick turnaround, right? And it also gives you that validation if you're new to Amazon, like, does this work? I don't want to put a lot of money into it yet. Well, by buying a few things in a store and seeing that they do sell, and then seeing that payout from Amazon, it's proof of concept. And I went there too. I started that way too. In fact, I started with used books and then did some arbitrage, but I sort of dipped my toes in the water, and that was my way of testing it and then building the business. The limitations, of course, with arbitrage is while you can grow a business to a decent size doing it, it's very difficult to scale because every time you're out looking for a new deal, you have to find another deal to replace it when the stock runs out on that deal. Now, there are things called replens or replenishables that you can find, that are products that you can buy day in and day out from online retailers or physical stores and sell them on Amazon. That's a little bit more scalable in that regard. But for the most part, it's very time consuming doing arbitrage, and it's a treasure hunt, right? You're always looking for that gold. And it's obviously a lot of effort if you're going out physically driving to stores and packaging things yourself and sending stuff into Amazon. On the flip side, wholesale really allows you to scale. For most people, trying to spend $10,000 on products you buy through retail arbitrage is going to be very difficult. It's going to be hard to find enough products or be able to buy enough quantities of those products to spend $10K, right? So that means that you're going to have a hard time scaling that business quickly. Whereas with wholesale, it's relatively easy. You could spend $10K in an hour if you wanted to. If you found some great products that were selling well and the velocity warranted it, you just put that $10K into that product, and then it sells on Amazon, and you get the money back plus your profits, right? All things being equal. And so the biggest takeaway for me, and the way I was able to scale my own Amazon business from a part-time hobby to my full-time income, making over $10,000 a month within 6 months, was by adding wholesale suppliers. And I'm going to cover a variety of ways you can go about doing that. But the big key takeaway from my business and my logic, it sounds simple, but when I applied it and saw it working, it all made more sense, was that with wholesale, you're adding to your income versus with arbitrage replacing income. Okay, so what I mean by that is you're adding one wholesale account and you keep buying from that account month after month after month. And then you add another wholesale account and you keep buying from that one month after month after month. Unlike with arbitrage, where you're constantly replacing income with new deals, it's a business that you can scale and you can grow, and you can start to use some of those products that you buy from competing suppliers, or not competing, but differing suppliers, to even combine products in a bundle in some cases and make even more profit and help both manufacturers out. What I recommend a lot of people, this is another point here, a lot of people do is they do what I call a hybrid model, where you're dealing with online arbitrage and also distributors, which are the easiest types of wholesale accounts to sign up for. Typically, they allow you to purchase lower quantities, and you can pay with a credit card. So if you're already doing online arbitrage, I would say the first place to start would be to look at the products that you're buying as replenishables already. You've got some of those, and then find out if there's a distributor in your area or in an area in the US that you could register for to buy them at better prices. And the best way to find those distributors, number one, is to look at the packaging itself. Often it'll have a distributor listed right on the product itself. Or you can go into Google, and I'll get into that later on how to find distributors and some specific ways to do it, because Google in 2023 is still a very powerful way to locate distributors. So that's what I consider the next step for most people is don't give up your arbitrage. And I'm not saying give up all arbitrage and go whole head into wholesale. Do both. If money's coming in with arbitrage, keep it going, but add wholesale alongside that. But before you go and reach out to any wholesalers, there's a couple of things that you're going to want to do. First, you want to establish a business presence, okay? So if you're a sole proprietor, which simply means you're running your Amazon business under your name and you and your business are one and the same, income from your business is counted as personal income on your tax return, you should, at very minimum, register a business name or a doing business as name, and your local province will have information about how to do that. It just makes you look more professional on an application when you have a business name as opposed to your name, right? The second thing is I would get a GST number, because if you're running a business in Canada, your GST or HST, depending on the province you're in, is reclaimable. So any services you pay for, any products you buy, any GST or HST that you pay, you can claim it back at the end of the tax year. So why wouldn't you register for one if you're serious about growing your business? It's money back in your pocket, right? I would also get a business license and check your local city and what the rules are for that. Again, it just establishes you as being more professional. And then the last thing is, and this is very easy to do, and some people find it intimidating initially. I know I did for the first time I registered, but it becomes second nature. Find some prep companies and register for them, because when you order from a wholesaler, you don't want to give them a residential address to ship things to. It just looks unprofessional, right? You want a commercial shipping address at minimum. Okay, so the next step is to start looking for suppliers. And as I mentioned earlier, start with the products you've already been buying with arbitrage and see if you can find a distributor for them. So you can look on the packaging, but you can also use Google as well. And a lot of people make the mistake when they go in Google of typing in a product name and then wholesale. And that's a bit general. So what I would say instead is use manufacturer or distributor after the product. So for example, you could say toy distributor, and you can even add your province, your city, or your country after that, and see what happens and what comes up. You can niche it down further. In the toys category, you could go a step further and say Lego distributor, for example, and that would come up with distributors of Lego. Now, there's another way of doing this. This is one way of finding suppliers. There's another way where you start with Amazon first. And this actually was revolutionary in my business. And it's something I teach alongside dealing with distributors in my own mentoring program. And that is reverse wholesale searching. So you start on Amazon first, and then you dig into the data and you find products that are already selling on Amazon. Okay, but there's opportunity for you to come in as an FBA seller and sell it for the same price or ideally higher than everybody else, and work directly with a brand owner. Okay, this one takes a bit of experience to get the hang of it, but anyone could start from a brand new seller or someone with at least an Amazon account. I can teach you how to start doing this, and that is going to be your most powerful long-term relationship-wise model with wholesale, dealing directly with brand owners, where you can add value to those brand owners, which I won't get into too much detail here on this particular video because it would go on too long. But that's what I call the graduate level of wholesale. And it's really a step down from private label, but it gives you an opportunity to sell products that are already selling. You don't have to go to all the risk of launching a new product, right? And it often leads to exclusives. So that's another great thing. Before you even start reaching out to a supplier, though, is you want to vet them. Like when you're doing your research, look at their website, look at their address. Do they have an address? How long have they been in business? Are there any reviews about them? Are there any people calling them a scam? If it's like a drop shipper or some kind of liquidator, I would usually steer clear of that, because you don't know the chain of custody of those goods, if they're counterfeit, if they're damaged, if they're legit. You don't know a lot of that stuff, right? So you want to make sure before you reach out to them that they look legitimate as best you can. You can even go as far as to go to like Whois and check the domain name that they're registered under, see what company owns that and how long they've been registered and that sort of thing. It's like anything. Do your due diligence before you waste any time reaching out to them. Then the second thing is you want to make a list of all of the potentials that you found. And I'm going to give you guys a spreadsheet as part of my wholesale mentoring program, where you can actually track everybody that you are targeting. And then the initial thing you're going to do is reach out to them with email. And then you're going to follow up with them with a phone call, because one of the things a lot of people give up on with the wholesale model, even dealing with distributors, is it's a lot of work up front. Okay. So when you reach out to someone with an email, you're probably not going to hear back 80% of the time. Okay. And then with a follow-up email, you might get a response. But typically, you're going to reach out 3 or 4 times to most suppliers. And it's going to require at some point you picking up the phone and talking to a decision maker over there. And that intimidates some people. And so if that intimidates you, you can still do this by dealing exclusively with distributors. But just be aware that if you want to get really high level with wholesale and get some really solid relationships, it's going to require you at some point to pick up the phone. This business is all about relationships, and they want to deal with people they trust. And you want to be able to show and demonstrate that you're a serious business owner, that you have expertise, that you can sell their products on Amazon, and that it'll be a mutually beneficial partnership. I'll teach you how to do that. I'll even give you scripts and things to follow that you can adapt and put into your own words that'll increase your odds of success significantly. But that's just something to keep in mind, guys. The next step out of that, of course, is once you get through that process, you want to open an account. And I'm going to walk you through the steps of opening an account, what to expect, what questions to ask. For instance, how much do I have to order to get a discount? Or how much do I need to order to get free freight? Maybe they can offer you a free freight shipping rate to your prep company, right? Those sorts of questions, and the terms of payment. If you want FOB pricing, then you could negotiate that if you have a business history, so you can help with your cash flow. Do they take credit card for the initial? A lot will, by the way. And that sort of thing. So opening an account is an important step, and I'll walk you through how to do that as well, because it's something that you could go to all this work, and if you don't know how to handle opening the account or what questions to ask, it could end up burning you. You know, I always say when you buy products wholesale, you make the most money the day you make the order, right? So the best price you can negotiate and the lowest cost on the shipping to get it to Amazon is all profit in your pocket, or out of your pocket, if you want to look at it that way. There's a service called Scan Unlimited that scrapes wholesale lists for distributors. That can be a really useful tool, and I'll link that below as well, for scouring wholesale lists. Because, you know, while scouring them manually is certainly beneficial and something I would suggest you do as well, automating that process if a supplier has a list that is able to be scraped, it'll save you a lot of time if you're dealing with a distributor, having this software go through and tell you right off the bat which products within that price list are profitable on Amazon. And then finally, it's placing your order and what to expect, right? So once you've placed your order, how long is it going to take to get there? What are the terms of payment? You know, how did you pay for that order? How quickly are the products going to sell on Amazon, which we can figure out fairly accurately using several tools, which I'll also walk you through, and that sort of thing. So hopefully that was helpful for you guys. If you are serious about transitioning into wholesale, this This mentoring I have is for people that have already had an Amazon account, done a little bit of arbitrage, and are looking to keep the arbitrage going, but scale into wholesale, transition into wholesale. I'll literally walk you through that in my mentoring, and I'll help you land those first few accounts and get that momentum going. And once you've learned from me the process, you're going to get tremendous value, because you can rinse and repeat what you've learned and continue to apply that in your business and scale it really as far as you want. And that's exactly what I did in my business. I know this works. I've helped hundreds of students over the years build their Amazon businesses. You've seen the reviews in the group on my website, and you could be the next person. But I only work with a few people at a time, and only people that are willing to do the work, because it's like getting a trainer at the gym. If you go to the gym and you don't do anything, you just watch other people work out, or you read a book on working out, it's not going to make any difference, right? I want people that are going to be action takers, and you've got to be willing to take action. You've got to be willing to handle rejection, because with wholesale, there's a lot of rejection up front. But on the flip side of that, yes, it's a lot of work up front to land wholesale accounts in a lot of cases, but so is arbitrage. The good news is, though, landing just one good wholesale account could literally transform your business overnight. You could have access to products that sell month after month after month that could transform the scale and scope of your business and give you the freedom to either quit your job or maybe have your partner quit their job, but level up, in a very low risk way. So I hope that was helpful. Check the link below and for more information on the mentoring program, and I'll be putting out further videos on this channel too.